Okay, well, we can go ahead and get started. And because I don't bite, so you guys are sitting in the back, you could come closer if you want. But my name's Gary Redor, so I'm going to be talking to you today about Tai Chi. So, has anybody studied Tai Chi before? Raise a hand. Anybody heard of Tai Chi before? Where have you heard about it?
It's just the little flyer that we have it here.
Yeah, but other than that, heard of the name. Have you seen like watch TV from people in China, and you've seen like in the parks in the mornings, you see a lot of people get together and they do this slow movement exercise, and you're probably wondering what's all that about. So yeah, kind of give you a little information about that. But I've been doing Tai Chi for about 25 years now. So I got into it when I was around 30 because I had came down with a real bad case of food poisoning, which has just wreaked havoc with my digestive system ever since, and that's why I stay slim. And so I used to do aerobics a lot and stuff like that, but couldn't really do that, so needed to find something to do. So I didn't know anything about Tai Chi, just went to a local school. I was working in Houston at the time and found a school and realized there was a lot more to Tai Chi, than I realized. So, but Tai Chi actually means supreme ultimate, if you take the Tai Chi words. And then there's also a term called Chuan, Tai Chi Chuan, which means supreme ultimate fist. So actually, Tai Chi is a martial art, and it was developed as a martial art. And I guess people realized that, hey, the benefit that you derived from doing it as a martial art, there was a lot of health benefits, which, happens with exercise anyway. But they realized, hey, it was good for balance and mind-body kind of connection. So that's how it's developed over time, and I'd say probably 80-90% of the Tai Chi that's taught today is mainly just taught for health purposes. They don't get into any of the martial aspect of it. The way I learned it and studied it in the school I went to, they also taught the martial aspect side of it, which was good, but like I said, a lot of people today aren't into that. But like I said, it's important that the health benefits derived from Tai Chi come from it being a martial art, so keep that in mind. But it's Tai Chi is work, though. It looks easy, because you see people, in the park, or they're doing something like this, and they look real relaxed, and you think, I could do that, because they're not doing anything. They're just moving their arms, but really you can't see what's going on inside the body, because Tai Chi is referred to as an internal art rather than external art. So, we have external arts like Kung Fu. I don't know if any of you grew up like I did watching David Carradine and Master Po, and that was Kung Fu, where it's a lot of hard striking, using a lot of muscle and kicks, and stuff like that. Karate, Taekwondo. But Tai Chi is called internal because you use your body in a different manner, and you use what's called the ground force, or whole body connection. So, which is a little bit hard to understand unless you kind of experience it. But it will work your legs, and then like anything, you get out of it what you put into it. You have to practice. But as Tai Chi takes a while, long time to learn, or longer time. It's not like an instant gratification that we all kind of look for. They say it's like building a stack of paper, one sheet at a time. But Tai Chi helps we have to learn how to retrain to use the body. So stretching and extension, but in a relaxed manner, is key. So there's an expression in Tai Chi that says no excess, no deficiency. So if I'm doing something, I can't be stiff like this, or I can't be limp like this either. So in Tai Chi, it says you have to relax, but in the Western society, our concept of relaxation is like sitting on a couch, right, watching TV. We're relaxed. But in Tai Chi, that's not really what relaxed means. Relaxed means is I'm extended and expressed, but I'm not stiff, but I'm not limp. So I'm in a space or state where I'm in between those two things. And I'm using the ground force, which I'll get into a little bit more. But in two, it's not just learning. In Tai Chi, you have to learn a sequence of movements and steps. And I learned what's called the 108 long form, which took me maybe 6 to 8 months to learn. And I was going to the school 3 times a week, and then I was practicing like twice a week. So it takes a while. And a lot of people, don't want to put in that time and effort. Or what I hear when I was teaching the long form, people are like, that's too much to remember, And they just want to learn something easy. And then, a lot of people don't want to practice. But that's kind of with everything. So it's not how you do the movements in Tai Chi, but that you're doing the movement, but it's how you do the movements that's really important. And it's internal, you can't really see it. So the whole thing and key with Tai Chi is that, like I said, you're using the ground force and whole body movement. So there's an expression in Tai Chi that says the movement is rooted in the feet, released through the legs, controlled by the waist, and materialized in the hands and the fingers. So I can show that by maybe doing this. So if I'm doing a movement like this, it looks kind of stiff, right? Because I'm using a lot of arm movement. But if I do the same movement like this, can you see a difference? So arms are relaxed, but then two, my arms are moving not as a result so much of my arm muscles, but they're moving as a result of what's happening inside my body, which you can't really see. So in a simple example, if I'm standing here and I want to turn this way, a lot of times we'll just rotate. But what if I bend my knees and I push this foot into the ground? So I'm actually pushing, but you can't see that. That's going to cause this hip to move this way, right? So I push the foot to turn the body, and I push the foot back to turn the body. So I'm using my legs now. So I'm not standing here doing this. But if I bend my knees, my legs are working now. Because there's one lady came to the Tai Chi class a couple weeks ago. And she was like, hey, I was standing there and my legs started to tremble. She said, why do you think that is? I thought I was in pretty good shape. My legs were, because I, walk a lot. I park far away and I walk to the mall. I'm like, well, I think your legs probably aren't in as good a shape as you thought they were, But connection is this too. So the upper body then has to connect to the lower body. So I said no excess, no deficiency. This is excess in the upper body. So if I turn, that looks pretty wooden and stiff, right? But if I'm like this, there's no connection here. It's not moving. So I have to find a happy medium point. So I push the foot, turn the waist, my elbow. When I turn the waist, see on my back, this starts to stretch and open. Can you see that? If that stretches and open, that's going to pull the shoulder back. See that? And if the shoulder goes back, what's going to happen to the elbow? The elbow goes back. The elbow goes back, what happens to the hand? The hand goes back, right? So that's why in Tai Chi we learn to use the feet, the force from the feet coming up through the legs. It has to be directed by the waist, and then it's expressed out through the hand. So it looks like this. So see that slight pulling of my hand? Watch. And rotating. So I'm not doing this with my hand, arms. All that's happening is because I'm pushing the foot into the ground, the waist pulling back, pulling my shoulder, which pulls the hand. See that? Now what if I push this foot into the ground to turn back this way? See that? That's causing this shoulder to drop, elbow to start to pull in because the waist is going. See that? So my arm is moving not because I'm doing this, it's moving because the feet are pushing, connecting the hand. So that's the benefit. So slowly over time, if this can stay extended and relaxed, I'm getting that stretching in the back. See that? That's pulling and stretching these muscles here in the shoulder joints. All of this starts to open up and stretch, so we don't get as stiff. We loosen up. And it's important, too, we start to loosen the chest and the back, like this. Then you're working the joints of the body, because the knees are starting to do this. The ankle joint is starting to open up. And a lot of our balance is actually affected by how loose our knees and our ankle joints are open. If the knees and ankles are stiff, yeah, your balance is going to be worse. But the more you can loosen up the joints of the body, then your whole body becomes more limber and less stiff, and you're less prone to fall or injure yourself. But another key thing in Tai Chi has to do with, like I said, how you do the movements, but it has to do with how you step. So, and it has to do, well, first thing I'll ask is, why do you think Tai Chi is done slowly? If Tai Chi is a martial art, if somebody is coming and punching at me, I'm not going to do this. Hey, slow down. Wait a minute. Don't punch. See, don't punch so fast, because my fist has to, stay where you're at. You're not going to do that, right? But so why do you do Tai Chi slowly? If it's a martial art.
Limber your body.
Pardon me?
Limber your body.
Yeah, well, that's one thing, but there's another key aspect. Because really what I'm doing is, has anybody tried to, say, walk upstairs? What do we do when we walk upstairs? You use momentum a little bit to kind of help push you up to the next step. But have you tried to walk upstairs slowly, like this? And get up to the next and push? It's hard, because you can't use momentum. You have to control 100% of the movement 100% of the time, right? And your balance and control and strength have to be much better. So same thing too when we walk. A lot of times when we walk, we do this, right? Can you see that? But what's happening when we walk like that? We're kind of like throwing our weight forward into the step. So we're not really controlling the whole movement. So that means, say, if you hit a patch of ice, you're already going forward, your momentum, or you hit a rock or something that's sticking up, you're automatically going forward, you're more prone to fall. And that's really detrimental as people get older, especially, people in their 70s, 80s. Falling can be very tragic. You could break a hip. Sometimes people that break a hip, they never recover. They're bedridden for a long time. And then they fall. What happens? They're afraid that they're going to fall again, so they don't want to do anything, and they just sit down and do nothing. Their muscles get weaker. They have to go out and do something. They don't have the strength, so they fall. So it's like a vicious cycle. So I guess the thing I want to stress and leave you with, not just Tai Chi, because, do some sort of exercise, whether it be Tai Chi, whether it be swimming, walking, dancing, go to the gym, do the treadmill, just do something. Don't just sit around, because that's the worst thing you can do, especially as you get older. But I wanted to go over in the Tai Chi walking, there's a specific walk that we do. So we do it slowly like this. So one, I sink the weight on this leg, so that means I'm building up my leg strength. So I have to balance all on one leg. Then when I step, a lot of times we do this. See that? It's slight, but what happened? I went forward, right? But in Tai Chi, when we step, it's like I'm stepping on a sheet of ice. I don't know if it's going to support my weight. So when I put the heel down, I don't commit anything forward at all. So I can just pick that up, see? So there's no weight here. A lot of times, too, when I put the foot down, we do this. So I committed my weight again, right? When Tai Chi, we do this. And I put the weight. I don't commit my weight. So see, I can still pick the foot up. But that means I have to bend my knee a little bit more, which means my legs have to be even stronger. Then once my foot's on the ground, it's solid, then actually I just don't shift the weight. I push this foot into the ground. I push. So I'm using the legs even more. If I sit back, I push the front foot into the ground to push me back. So I'm using the legs all the time. I open, then I shift the weight. So now pretty much almost 100% of the weight's here. I'm on the toe. So actually I can just do this, see that? Just step up. So I'm controlling 100% of the movement, 100% of the time. And I keep this straight. So then you learn to walk. It's kind of like, well, I'm not throwing myself, and it just kind of transfers into how you kind of move naturally. I use this axis to kind of rotate and turn and keep the back straight. So a lot of times as we get older, this starts to happen. People hunch over. So another thing in Tai Chi, there's an expression that says your head is suspended from a string. That's why you keep your head up like this. A lot of people, when they first start Tai Chi, they're like this. They don't even realize it. Or they're like this. It's subtle, but see my shoulders? So they always say in Tai Chi, drop the elbows. Or they're like this, drop the elbows, which drops the shoulders. So after a while, you do it enough. In the beginning, you don't realize, but after you've done it a couple months, and I remember I was walking around like, hey, my shoulders are up. But I didn't realize they were up before because I never paid attention. So that's why the Tai Chi too is a mind-body exercise. Because in order to slow the body down, what do you have to do? You have to slow the mind down. But in today's society, that's hard, right? Because we're thinking about, hey, what happened earlier in the morning? Or, hey, my boss pissed me off. And maybe, or my spouse or my kid, or somebody, hey, I'm going to get back, I'm going to say something to them when I see them this afternoon. You're thinking about that. Or, hey, what am I going to eat this evening for dinner? I got to cook. And our mind is just racing a mile a minute. We're never in the present. We're always in the past or in the future, right? So one thing about Tai Chi, in order to keep slow the body down, the mind has to slow down, and you have to stay in the present. So in the time you're doing Tai Chi, it can become real meditative and relaxing because, one, you have to think of what's the next movement. You can't be thinking about the past. You can't be thinking about the present. You focus on just what's happening in the here and now. And that's where a lot of benefit derives, because there's a mind-body connection. And in order to slow the mind down, if the body's not relaxed, the mind can't relax either. So there's kind of a mutual interrelationship there. So I'll just show you, I guess, part of what the form looks like. This is called part of the long form. But so I'll just do it. But in each movement has a name. So this is called beginning movement. So one thing, I don't do this. See, I have to maintain intent, mind intent. So here it's like, what if I do it like this? I'm not really focused, right? So I'm not doing it right. Or if I do it like this, that looks kind of stiff, doesn't it? So I mean, those are the two extremes. So I have to find a happy medium where I extend, but see, it's like strings pull my fingers. So that opens the back. See the back? So if a lot of people do it like this. But I say, pull your fingers. See, watch, my back opens. Well, can I open it even more? See that? Maybe just a little more. So over time, you can't do this, but after a while, this starts to open. I bend the knees, and that connects my hands because then it pulls my elbows down. This is that same connection. I turn to the right, I push the left foot into the ground, turns the waist, it pulls my arm. So I'm using the least amount of muscle to hold my arms up. I push off, I step. This is actually a block. Knee comes up, it could be a kick. Then I just don't step back, I stretch. See, I leave the hand here. See, that opens, see the back? And I hold the ball. The ball's not here. Ball's here, and then the ball's here, because that opens up. I turn, I push the foot, turns the waist, which pulls the arm around. See that? This is called ward off. I push the front foot to turn, push the back foot. So the arms are kind of going along for the ride. See that? I can try to match the breathing. The waist turns, it pulls the arm, see that? It pushes the hand. I close the chest, see that? Pushes the hand out a little more. This is called lift hands. It's called white crane spreads wings. Anytime you're on one leg, that means I can kick, see? Waist turns to block. Block. It's brush knee and press. It's called step up, play guitar. See, everything's, a lot of it's on one leg. So when I go down, I touch, I bend the knee, drop the body rather than. So that's kind of what Tai Chi looks like. So it looks like it is relaxing. But it's relaxing, and it looks like it's easy because if you get to the point you do it right, you're exerting a lot of internal energy to do it correctly, but you've learned to relax too and open up the joints of the body. And that's why it looks relaxing and smooth, but you don't see everything that's gone into it to get to that point or what's going into it to get to that point. So that's kind of... I wanted to leave you with one thing. I was reading going online. You can go online and look up Tai Chi and benefits of Tai Chi, and you'll read a lot of stuff. And it looks like, hey, it's the best thing since sliced bread. It cures everything. And I think there are benefits to Tai Chi. Like any exercise, you have to do it. But I think too there are a lot of real benefits to Tai Chi, but it's not a panacea. It's not like a magic bullet that's just going to cure everything. But you can go online and just type in benefits of Tai Chi. You'll see a lot of articles from like Harvard Medical School and WebMD and some other studies which show the benefits of Tai Chi. But I found one article which I thought was very interesting, and it was talking actually about the number one thing or exercise that people can do to slow down the aging process, and they were more referring to the mental aging process of dementia and Alzheimer's, which is a serious issue nowadays. And I know that personally because my mom died last year with Alzheimer's. And she battled that for 6-7 years, and that was, it's a terrible, if anybody's had a relative or somebody that has that, it's a terrible disease, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But they said the number one exercise that you can do, anybody want to take a guess, stab? And it was something that I wouldn't have thought of, but it's something that's pretty common. Sit-ups? No.
It's got to be mind-related of some sort, like doing math equations or something like
What it has to do with...
Or meditation, maybe?
It has to do with involving the mind, yeah. It's actually dance. Because I say one, because dance, does strengthen your physical body, your legs, but they said the more important component of that was that the people that were in the study, they had to learn and memorize choreographed sequence of movements. So they had to keep the mind involved and the mind active. And I think they changed, the dance steps to learn different movements after a period of time. So then they had to learn new dance movements. So the key was keeping the mind active, the mind focused. And I was thinking about it. I said, hey, well, that's the same thing Tai Chi does, because you work the legs, the body, but you also have to learn choreographed sequence of movements. So I think it's a direct correlation there with Tai Chi as well. So that's kind of my presentation. Again, what I want to leave you with is you don't have to do Tai Chi, just do something. But I do teach Tai Chi here at the hospital on Thursdays at 6:30 is a beginning class, and then also at Snap Fitness, if any of you go to Snap. I think at 5:30 on Wednesday evenings and 10 a.m. Thursday mornings. But like I said, just do something, whether it's walking, swimming, treadmill, dancing. Just stay active. And it doesn't have to be that much, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, maybe 3 times a week. And that'll really help.